I'm so excited. Look who's back. It's me. It's Kayla. I'm back. I'm better, I'm whiter, and I'm gayer than ever. As you can see by this title, I don't know what I'm gonna make it. It's down there actually. I don't know why I went like this, but it's down there. Just saying. In case you were dyslexic or something. That was kind of offensive, but you know me. Anyways, by the title of this video, you can tell that it is my coming out story. I wanted this to be my first ever video of me starting back up on my channel, and I want to turn this channel into something a little different than what it is now. By that I mean it's just going to be small differences actually. I'm not going to be gaming as much as I would like to because I do not have internet at the moment. I'm lucky that I'm posting this actually, but I'm gonna have internet in a few months, and then I will start back up with gaming. But until then, I'm going to be doing recitings, I'm going to be doing tag videos, funny videos, just me talking like this, my stories, things like that, and different info videos, kind of, like tips on coming out. I'll be posting one of those. Oh, and reaction videos. Those are my favorite. I cannot wait for you guys to see them. They are so awesome. But most of my videos that I'm going to be posting are older videos of me. So this video is the newest video I've made. My older videos are the ones that I'm going to be posting later, which is kind of weird, but I have longer hair then. And yeah, and I'm stupider, but still gay. So yeah. So what I'm going to be talking about today is my coming out story. I came out on August 29th to my family, my closest family, and I came out to my friends a few months later on October 12th. Yeah, everyone took it well. I mean, it was really a big relief for me to do it. I've been holding that in for months and months and months and months. That is why I've not made videos for 3 months, is because I've been wrapped up in that and just the process and stuff, and I just needed time to readjust to my life. Just stuff like that. So it all began, flashback, everyone. Flashback. You just flashed back to 6th grade, my 6th grade, which is like 3 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago. Math is not fun. But anyways, I started, that was, the hell? Just don't pay attention to that. I'm in a bathroom because it was the quietest place, and it's not very quiet right now. My ass itches. In 6th grade, I started having feelings toward girls that I was supposed to have toward guys, so that kind of confused me. And it was just like the really small feelings, like just thinking a girl's hot and walking past them in the hallway or something, just small little things like that. But I kind of didn't really. I knew what gay was. I knew what it meant, and I kind of just didn't want to be that way. So I kind of pushed it aside, and I thought that if I would ignore them long enough, they would go away, and then I would be a little happier and stuff, and a little less confused. And every time I would even have thoughts or those feelings, I would just kind of tell myself, you are not gay. You are not gay, Kayla. Stick to guys. So I guess just telling myself was not enough, because in beginning of 7th grade, I got into my first real relationship with a guy named Jacob. I didn't really want to be in a relationship. I was desperate. But anyways, I dated him for about 6 months. I treated him very well because I wanted that relationship to last, because it was my first real relationship, and I tried to make myself into what I thought every guy would want, like someone who's smart, pretty, funny, athletic, things like that. But once he broke up with me, I figured out, or rather thought, that I was none of those things. So that really lowered my self-esteem, my self-confidence, the way I looked at myself. It was all really just bad at that time. Flashback again, guys. We're flashing back again to whenever I first asked Jacob out. It was but I was a social media freak back then, so it was over Facebook, and I was still on there after an hour, and this other boy named Thomas went on chat and asked me out, and I felt really bad about telling him that I was already in a relationship, so I assured him that if me and Jacob broke up, then I would date him. I kept my promise, and after a week after me and Jacob broke up, I got together with Thomas, and we dated for about 3 or 4 months. I was miserable. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I was miserable. I hated every second of it. It was pure hell, and I never want to do that again. But anyways, it did help me though realize really those feelings that I was having before. It did help me cope with them, and made me really think of the fact maybe I am gay. Maybe this is who I am. This is what I gotta do with my life to be happy. That was toward the end of 7th grade and the beginning of 8th grade. And whenever 8th grade started, all kinds of shit just rained down. But it was no one's fault. It was mine. I really could have been happier than what I was. I was just, it was pure my fault. Now that I look back on it, it was, I could have done something to help myself, but I didn't. I never told anyone about my sadness, but I didn't make it noticeable. I just put on a smile and went to school and just lived life like I thought that I needed to put other people at ease. So all those confusion and doubts about me being gay was piling up more, and again with the stress in school, just them preparing us for adulthood, it really combined, and then that hatred for myself came along later. I had a deep disdain for myself. I didn't like the way I looked, the way I dressed, the way I walked. Anything just disgusted me about myself. And that was really hard to go in and look at myself in the mirror and try to be happy with who I was. But that I was done trying to live life. I was done trying to help myself. I was done with living. I contemplated self-harm and suicide multiple times. I had a really close encounter with self-harm or suicide once, and that really messed me up. Just those thoughts scared me in general. It was a very scary time being actually thinking that may be the answer to this. Just thinking that was scary. Once that near encounter happened, it opened my eyes to how shitty my life had been and how much I can turn it around if I really try. So I tried. I really, really tried, guys. I did. I tried so hard. And it worked for a while. I was happier. I was much happier. In the process of trying to become happier than what I was at the time, I got myself into another relationship. God, stupid. I met with a boy named Matt, and I thought at the beginning that it was gonna last. It was gonna be the one that's gonna take away all of those feelings and thoughts about me being gay. It was gonna be the one that turned me straight. But instead of doing that, it helped me understand more and actually made me realize that I'm gay. This is who I am. Those feelings are true, they're real, they're there, and I got to accept them. So I didn't like being around him the last little bit of our first relationship. I didn't like being around him much. I don't want to use the word sicken, but it made me like really not angry or embarrassed, but like I don't know what word to use not to offend anyone. It was just hell. I'll just use that. It was hell. I mean, I know he's probably watching this, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying to explain myself here. During that time, I realized I'm gay. I need to take action. So I ended that relationship. And then about a month later came these doubts and confusions that were still there for some reason. That they were still present and they were still hurting me. So, as a form of sympathy, I got back together with Matt because I just was not 100% sure anymore. We dated up through the end of 8th grade and the beginning of 9th grade, and I was still unhappy in the beginning of 9th grade because I had I knew for sure then, but then came the hard part, which was actually coming out of the closet. And then I was really just like so nervous and scared, and I felt really alone before that. I think everyone goes through that in the process of coming out, feeling really alone because you can't talk to anyone about that without coming out. So I I realized I kept crying myself to sleep each night, and then one night I just could not take it anymore. I got on my computer, I typed up a letter, and that stated everything I've told you guys now, and the fact that I'm gay. But the weird thing is, I came out as bisexual at first, but I said I lean a little more toward girls, and that was just taking like a baby step. But I typed it up. It was on my computer. I walked into the living room and I was gonna make a reaction video. That's why I know what date it is because I still have the video. But my mom was asleep. I was gonna read it to my mom, but she was asleep. I didn't want to wake her up, because she wouldn't wake up. She wasn't dead, guys. So I went back in my room. I waited for a little bit, and then my grandma came down from her house, which is like 20 feet away from ours. She came down, and I was like, "This is my chance." I grabbed my computer, I ran back up to follow her to her house, and I told her I'd read her my latest story. So I read it to her. Well, actually, I gave it to her to read first, and she reads really freaking slow. So I grabbed it out of her hands, and I just read it. And whenever I got to the part about me being gay, then I was really hesitant, but I knew that it would all be okay once I did it. I would be so much happier if I did it. So I did. I came out to my grandma August 28th, and then my grandma, once I read it, I talked about my depression, and then she got the idea that I was still depressed, which I wasn't. So she called up my aunt, and she was like, "Hey, you need to go talk to Kayla, but don't tell mom," because I told her not to tell my mom, because I wanted to read it to her. But she said, "You need to talk to Kayla. She's really depressed," and she didn't say why. So my aunt got really like concerned, and she called my mom and was like, "Hey, you need to talk to Kayla. I don't know what's going on. Just talk to her." So I was basically forced into reading it the next day, August 29th, and I came out to my friends August 12th, which is another funny story, but it wasn't as hard to do it because I had already done it with my family. It wasn't as hard to do because I knew that people would accept me still, because I told Matt, I told him whenever we got back together the second time, that the reason we broke up before was because I thought that I was gay, but I wasn't 100% sure anymore. And the first person I actually came out to was Matt, one of my friends. I got on Facebook, I sat there, I waited, and Matt popped up, so I was like, oh, okay, finally, someone I talk to a lot. So I typed up a huge long paragraph. I didn't type everything up, but I said at the end that I'm gay and I wanted to come out today. So he said he wouldn't judge me, he would accept me for who I am, so that gave me the courage to come out to the rest of my friends, but I could only come out to my next one, which was Ariel, and I got a good reaction out of her, and I couldn't tell anyone else because it was like 1 o'clock at night, or 12, one or the other, and Facebook was being a bitch. So I was just like, oh my god, and I just, the next day I learned that Matt had told a few people, and so did Ariel, so that was huge relief. I didn't have to go back on and tell people at random times and just have lots of confusion between all of them. So that was a good thing to do, not a bad thing. Everyone accepted me. It was such a huge relief to finally get that off my chest, because that's what I've been crying over for months. So, yeah, that is my coming out story, guys. I know I love telling my coming out story because it's what makes me who I am. It's a big part of my life, and I love sharing it with others because I hope that it would help someone else going through the same exact shit that I am. that I went through. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, guys, or found it helpful or good in any way, found it, I don't know, some word that I'm not smart enough to use, some big word that someone else could put in for me. Yeah. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also leave a comment which may you do or talk about in the next video. You can also leave videos you want me to react to in the comment section below. Why is my computer shutting off? But that is all for this video, guys. Yeah, there will be other videos very shortly. I will be posting videos once or twice weekly, but I will get more videos in, hopefully, in the future. But yeah, that is all for this video, guys. Bye!